Hey friends, good morning. How are you guys doing today? Today is Monday, the 6th, I want to say. This month has low-key been dragging, it feels like. The year barely started and it's already been moving in slow motion. And that's only because I've been moving in slow motion because I haven't had a car. So my time and everything has been real limited to this house. But that's not the reason why I'm vlogging. The reason is because I have a lot of thoughts in my head and I just need to like verbalize them because they're driving me crazy. So I've been thinking about this long and hard, hard and long, long and hard. And there's this topic in my house that just keeps popping up, keeps popping up, keeps popping up, year after year, month after month. And you know what? I think I finally came to a point where I'm comfortable enough to just go ahead and do this, right? I'm talking about letting my son, he's 14 now. This year, literally this year, he's turning 15. Like, he just turned 14 a couple months ago. But this year, I'm gonna let him move with his dad. He has been, first off, this topic has been popping up for a while now, and I've always said no because, and there's reasons why I've said no, because I feel like his dad hasn't been the most stable person, you know, like he's not the most stable person. Let's just keep it a buck. He's not, okay? And that it is what it is. Everybody knows it. He says it out of his own mouth. He's not the most stable person. And honestly, like when it comes to raising my son, I've been here month after month, year after year, day after day, sick. When he's sick, taking him to the doctors, taking him to school, whether they have like this, that, and other. I've been that primary parent with him his whole life. Like, I've never not been there. Never not been there. I've been there his whole life, right? But of course, he's a boy, he's getting older. I feel like sometimes kids, they like fantasize about what they think it'd be, what it would be like to live with the other parent, because they don't see you often. And then like when they do see you, it's fun because they don't see you often. You're not the main one there that's like the disciplinary, that's the one that's on their head when they're doing bad at school. Like, you're not there like that. So I feel like in his mind, it's like dad is up here, and he just gotta go see what it's like to live there. And I feel like naturally as a boy, they do that anyway. I feel like naturally as a boy naturally wants to be with his dad. Like, it is what it is. You know, not all kids are like that, but I feel like for the most part, boys naturally want to go with their dad. So I feel like as he's getting older, the subject is popping up more and more and more. And I'm the one that's reluctant to let go in a sense, because it's like it's the fear of the unknown. Like, I don't know what I'm letting him go to. Like, I mean, I know what I'm letting him go to, but like I don't know what I'm letting him go to. I don't know. Like, this is my child. This is my child. You know, he's our child, but like it's like he's never not been around me for so long, you know. And then just to be like, okay, go ahead, is scary. It's a scary thought. But I feel like this is something that like I feel like it's something that has to be done in order for him to experience that. Like, I never want to be the barrier between him and, you know, him and what he want to do. Granted, he's a child, so you're not gonna just let him do anything, but like when it comes to that part of his life, I feel like he feels like he's missing out on something by not having that with him all the time. And I feel like I'm a barrier that's like keeping that from him. And it sucks because you want to be I'll put my leg up. It sucks because you want to like give your child everything that they desire, but then there's like that other parent is a part of them too. The other parent is a part of their DNA too. And whatever he's lacking from that side, I'm not fulfilling. And you know, quite naturally, God didn't give us children to raise on our own. Like, this isn't a solo job. You know, it takes two people to make them, and it takes two people to raise them. It just sometimes more or less one person end up with 90% of the burden, which is not a burden, but 90% of the job than the other person. That happens a lot, and like that's kind of what happened, you know. So I think I'm getting more comfortable with allowing that to happen. Like, finally being okay with being like, okay, you want this so bad, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do it. Because I feel like he has to see what that's like. Like, I can't live that part of his life for him. He has to go and experience that and see what it's like to have his dad in his life every day, Monday through Friday. You know, getting up for school, coming home from school, staying on top of homework, like, you know, making sure he's fed, making sure he's healthy, making sure he stays on top of everything. Like, I feel like until he experiences that every day, he's always gonna want that. My other two, either they're just not at the age of that, or they just don't want it. Like, I've talked to them too about it. Like, what do you guys think? And they're like, no. My daughter, she's like, no. Like, she doesn't want that right now. Like, she's like, no. Like, I want it. She wants to be here at home. She's like, that's fine to go visit, but like, this is home, which I respect that. And my youngest, he's never ever like, he's never lived in a house with his dad since he was 6 months. He's about to be 8 years old. He don't know what that's like. He has no clue what that's like. He knows like months at a time, like they'll go down for a summer break or whatever, but like even then he's like ready to come home because he's just not used to that. That's not what they're used to. So that's understandable. But my oldest, he really wants this. He really wants it. And I'm not gonna lie, it hurts my feelings how much he wants it. Like, it really does. And I feel like I don't know what part that's tapping into my heart, but part of it hurts. Like, and I don't really know why. I don't know why that hurts my feelings so much, because that's stupid. It's so stupid, but it's like, that's my baby. Like, I don't, as a mother, you give up so much for your kids. Like, you give up so much for your kids. I feel like I put so much of my life on hold when I had my kids. Like, honestly, I feel like I put so much of my life on hold for my kids, because it's like I take them in consideration about everything I do. Everything I do, I take them into consideration. It's always like, I can't do this because like, you know, it'll affect them this way, or like, what if it affects them that way, or like, what if, you know, it's a constant thought in your head that you want to give them the best. Like, I don't want to put anybody around them that could make them feel uncomfortable. I want them to be home, and this to be like their safe space, like where they're comfortable here and they can be their natural selves here, and they don't have to like walk on tippy toes. I don't want, rather it's family, rather it's a mate, rather it's friends. Like, I don't want anybody in their space that can make them feel uncomfortable. And that like holds me back from a lot of things that could be happening, because I have children to think of. And there's a bigger picture there. Like, when you grow up in a household and you see what happens when you put people around your kids that can affect them negatively forever, it scares you to like a sense to where it's like, okay, I'm not taking any chances. I'm not taking no chances. And that makes you like pause a lot of things in your life, right? Rather it's like, oh, I wanna get up and I wanna move here, I wanna do that. You're limited because you have kids. And I don't think everybody thinks like that. Especially like when you're the primary parent, you think like that. You cross out every box, you dot every I, you cross every T that can affect your kids in any way, because overall their well-being is your priority. Their overall well-being is my priority in life right now. It's not always gonna be like that. Like, they're eventually gonna get to the age where they grow up and they go, and then I have my time. But like, I put such a huge chunk of my life on hold for them because they're my priority, you know? Like, they're my God-given priority. God blessed me with these kids to make sure that they're safe, to raise them as best as I can. And I took that as a real thing. And when it comes to my kids, like, I give them the best of me that I can. And for my son, I know he loves his mom. Like, I don't take this personal. It's not personal. I get choked up because of the fear factor in it, right? For my son, it's not personal, but like, he needs his father. Like, he feels like he's missing something. And we've talked about it, and we've talked about it, and we've talked about it, because I've talked to my brothers about it. I've talked to other people about it, because I'm like, I don't really understand. I don't understand it. You know, it's like, I'm giving him everything. But it's like, but there's something in him that is missing this very important thing. So my brother told me, like, I need to take my pride out of it, and do what's best for him. And when it comes to my kids, I'll put my pride to the side, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it to the side. I'm gonna realize that he's not a baby anymore. He's grown into a young man, and he's telling me like his wants and his needs, and I can't be the person to stand in the way of it just because I'm scared, you know? His dad loves him. His dad loves his kid to death, and I don't think he'll like purposely do anything to, like, you know, affect him negatively. And I have to trust that, like, in me, I have to trust that he will never do anything purposely to negatively affect this kid that is my heart, you know? I feel like for a lot of times people think like, oh, it's because of this. Oh, because he's like, oh, because you're like, I hear a lot of stuff online like, oh, the mother won't let him go because we're like, it don't have nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with like the kid, like the fear of like, what will he be exposed to? What will he be seeing? What's gonna be around him? How is that gonna affect him? Is there gonna be anybody there to like be with him all the time? Like, which granted, he don't need anybody with him all the time, but like, is there gonna be somebody there to like take him and pick him up? And what if he gets sick? And you know, what if like, I know what he likes, like I'm with him all the time. Like, are you guys gonna have the things that like he likes? Is somebody gonna like be there to check in with him like mentally? Like, is all those little things that's just like, it's fucking scary, bro. It's scary. And maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. I feel like I'm putting too much effort into it, like mentally, because I am a mom, and because your brain naturally thinks of like the woulda, coulda, shouldas, like what ifs. The what ifs like will tear you up, you know? Like, what if this happened? Like, how would I get to him? What if that happened? Like, what if nobody was paying attention and he's like on da-da-da-da? What if this, like, the what ifs is like what's murking me, but it's like, this has to happen. I can't clock nobody else's life. All I can do is trust that if I put my child in your hands, that you are gonna do the best you can to make sure that he is 100%. You're gonna give him the time that he deserves and that he so badly like wants for, you know? All I can do is like put that all in prayer and pray about it, because I've been praying about this. Like, I really haven't. I've been talking to people about it just because I'm just trying to like mentally clock it, like trying to mentally make sure like, is this the right decision? Because like when you talk to moms, they're naturally gonna be like, like they're gonna put those fearful thoughts that I'm thinking in my head, they're gonna put them deeper in my head, and then it's gonna be like, no, because this, and this. And then like when you talk to dads or like the male figure, it's like, well, he's getting to that age where, you know, that's quite naturally gonna happen. So for me, it's like, okay. And then it's like, you know, you talk to him and he's like, this mom, this is what I want. And then it's like, okay. If this is what you want, okay, you know, like I don't. For girls, it's easy because I'm not easy, but like I know my daughter, I can clock her better because I've been there before, and like I already know what to expect in certain like areas of her life. I already know like what to expect that she's going to be going through at certain gauges of her life. But like with boys, it's different because I don't know what he's going through. I don't know how to gauge him. I feel like I spend a lot of my time trying to figure out like where is he at mentally, because like I can't really relate. His father can relate. That's just that, you know? And it's crazy. I'm like, I never thought I would be like okay and say okay, but that's only because like selfishly I want to not be okay, and I want to not say it's okay. I don't want to be fair right now. I don't want to be like the logical parent that says this is what's best for my child. Like I want to be the parent that's like everybody else, like I'm gonna do what's best for me and everybody else gotta fall in line. But I can't be that parent when it comes to my kids. I was never that parent. I let a lot of things slide just for the sake of my kids. I let a lot of things go by that other people would be like, hell no, for the sake of my kids' happiness, for the sake of not rocking the boat, for the sake of trying to keep the peace. Like I grew up watching so much chaos when it comes to raising kids. I watched people fight. I watched so much noise and chaos from like my parents and all their situations that like I'm so on the left end of the spectrum where I just want to keep the peace. I want to keep the peace. And then you know what? Like if I deep in my brain that this is what's best for my child, okay, we're gonna roll with that because thus far it is made things so much more peaceful in my life. And I know that sometimes kids just gotta go and experience things to like get their own perspective on it. Like he's not a baby anymore. It's like he has to go and see what it's like to be there every day. To He has to go and experience that himself as his own person. And if it works out, perfect. And then if he goes and he says, "Mom, I did this, and I know what it's like, and I want to come home," you can always come home. Like let's go. I'll come get you. Like let's let it fly. Like I'm not gonna ever stand in the way of that. So that's where my brain has been for the past couple days. I'm like, I'm just I'm just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. You know? I was like waiting. Sometimes you like wait on people to get their life together the way that like you see fit in your brain, but that's not my story to write. And the way that like I want the other person to have his life together isn't the way that he sees fit. So I can't control that. Like I can't hold my son back because of whatever decision you decide to do. Whatever. Like I'm not gonna hold him back. At first I was like, I know, because I don't want him to just be walking into all this da da da. But sometimes your parent is just chaotic and they just live a chaotic life, and he just going that's just how his life is. And unfortunately you're just gonna have to like see that that's just what it is. Like you're gonna have to jump your feet in there and see the person for who they really are and experience life with that person how they are. And he's gonna have to pull whatever he pulls out of that as a man, and he's just gonna have to firm it. Like it's not like my life. I live a peaceful life because like I don't like chaos. I never have. Like I lived a chaotic life for a lot of years, and then when I stepped out of that, I realized that ain't for me. But like just because my life is peaceful on this end, some people just live life in on the opposite end of the spectrum, and that's just their life. Like that, it doesn't make it good and it doesn't make it bad. It just make it as that's what it is. And I feel like my son just needs to see his dad for who he is, and he needs to like experience that for himself, and pull whatever gems out of it he can pull out of it. I feel like us as parents, like you give your kids everything. You give them the good, you give them the bad, you give them the ugly. My son has seen me in all forms of it. He's seen me good, bad, and ugly. He's seen it all. So he truly knows me. He knows me in and out. He knows who I am. Like day to day, month to month, year to year. He knows who this person is. Like, and I feel like it's only right that he gets to experience that on the other end. He needs to know who that person is, good, bad, ugly, not just for a couple months or not just here and there or not just over the phone. Like, he deserved to know that person every day, just like he knows me every day, you know? So, I mean, like, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. It's this is a new experience for him, and like anything, new experiences come with fear. They come with like, an adjustment period, and that's just what this is. So I told him, you know what, like, I'm not gonna fight you on this no more. This is what you want, so okay, I'm gonna let him finish the year off here, and then he'll start his freshman year out there, and he'll do his freshman year of high school out there, and then we'll reconvene after that, and then we'll just see. We'll take it day by day, and year by year, and month by month, and then see what happens. Like I have faith in God enough to know that He's been with us this whole time, and He's carried us this whole time, and I don't feel like He's gonna drop us yet. So in the meantime and in between time, that's gonna be the plan. So guys, life is scary. The funny thing about it is I feel like when you get a divorce, like you spend a lot of your time thinking about the other person and the other person and the other person and blah 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 blah. But then at some point, it does not. It ain't about that person at all. It becomes about your kids, because then like your kids are an extension of that person, and like that person still affects your kids. So it's like it ain't. I don't care about what he do. His life is his life. He's an adult. He live his life however he sees fit. But like for me, it's like my kids. Like, you know, especially like when you talk to them and it's like, well, I've been talking about getting him, and then like it's like you're not only talking to me about that, like you're talking to him about that. So then like you're getting his hopes all high that like, oh, like I can do this, and like, or it's like when we talk about it, it's like, this is what I want. Like, mom, like, yeah, I talked to dad about like living with him, and he said he's perfectly fine with it. Like, we're just waiting on you. Pretty much, it's like we're waiting on you to let go. And I'm like, I don't want to let go. So then you become the barrier between what they want and then what they need. Like you're the barrier, and for me, I'm nobody's barrier, bro. We're gonna go ahead and lift that barrier, and then we're gonna let the water run how it runs, and then we're gonna watch and see what happens. And then like if my son calls and say, hey, I did this and I'm ready to come home now, then come on home, baby. And if he do it and he's like, I love it here and I don't ever want to come back, then hey, come see me. You know where I'm at. You know where I'm at. You know where I'm gonna be at. Like, I'm gonna be here. My kids are my heart. Like, that can never change. Like, I don't care. It's funny, like when you're with a person, like you think that person is your heart, but then when you have kids, that love is so potent. It takes over everything else. Like the love for your babies run deep. It runs so deep in your heart that like it literally takes over everything else. Like, I don't care about what this person does as long as it doesn't affect my kids. When it affects my kids, that's when it starts to hit deep. You can do whatever you want with your life, but when it comes to these three, that's when it's gonna get something different, because the love that I have for them is literally I can't explain it. It's there, and I just want them happy at the end of the day. I just want them to feel like safe, secure human beings. I want them to know that they matter. I want them to know that like they have a team behind them that's willing to, like, I'm a team myself, and I'm willing to go to bat for you no matter what. Like, you always gonna have somebody solid on your team, and that's always gonna be mama. I'm always gonna be solid, and I'm always gonna stand 10 toes down for my kids no matter what. So I feel like as long as they grow up knowing that I'm not going nowhere, like I'm solid no matter what route they take as young adults, as like adults, as old adults, like as long as they know that mama's always there, like I feel like I've done my part. That's the morning rant, guys. That's those are the thoughts in my head that's like that's been like bouncing around. Like every time this subject come up, I push it out of my head. I'm like, no, push out of my head. No, no, no. It's been like that for a minute now. No, 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 no. And then now I finally like, this is the first time that I'm like, you know what, I'm tired of being like in the way of it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let it happen. And that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And the chips are gonna lie where they're gonna lie, you know? And that's that. So, yeah, guys. I don't know. If you guys are watching this and y'all made it all the way to the end of my rant, leave me a comment if you've experienced this. Like, let me know what you think. Let me know. Because honestly, I'm at my wits' end right now. And like, I'm going to just chuck it up to the deuces and I'm going to pray on it. And then we're going to let God take over after that. But when it comes to my baby, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to let him go and figure that portion of his life out. And I'm going to just be here as this cheerleader in the background, you know, silently cheering him on, staying in his head, staying in his ear. I thank God that like we do have a relationship where they feel comfortable enough to talk to me, and I'm gonna just keep that barrier open. I'm gonna just keep it open. You can call me, talk to me anytime. He's like that now. He'll just come in the room and lay on the bed with me and just start talking. And like, I just pray that God keeps my ear and my heart open enough to receive whatever he has to say and to think of it logically instead of emotionally. So all I could do is be that barrier, be that person for him that like when he needs a voice, when he needs an ear, I can be that ear for him. No matter if he's here in the household with me or if he's in the household with his dad. I feel like kids never not need, you know, parents. Even if you feel like he don't need me, I'm always keep that door open to where he can. If you need me, you know you can always hit my line. If you need me, I don't care if I'm way out here 5 hours away. I'm not that parent that's only gonna come every once in a while, okay? When they were out here and I was out there every weekend with them. Every weekend, every off day. I worked 5 days out of the week. And on my weekend off days, guess where I was at? On the road, headed to my baby. So like, I'm that parent that's gonna drop and run when you need me, because I know how important that is to have somebody in your corner like that. So as long as I can keep that open, keep that little door open, keep that door of communication open, that he felt like if you're ever in the bind, you can call your mama and your mama coming, baby, I did my job. And I'm gonna keep doing my job into adulthood and all. That job don't end. So that's where I'm at, guys. Parenting is taking a new turn for me, and I'm gonna roll with the punches, baby. I done rolled this far, so ain't no ending now. I'll talk to y'all later.